good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Rick Jones. I'm an at-large member of the Dubuque City Council, and I'm pleased to speak on behalf of Mayor Roy Buell and my City Council colleagues on this morning. Weather and Transportation got together to entrap Roy in Washington, D.C. yesterday, so he sends his regards. But you got to look at me instead of him. Mostly the same words, though. Thanks for joining us today to acknowledge the completion of a collaborative and unique project. In fact, we believe it's the first of its kind in Iowa. This biogas conversion project at Dubuque's Water and Resource Recovery Center is another example of how public-private partnerships are driving innovation in our community and our state. In this case, it's a mutually beneficial relationship between four key project partners: the City of Dubuque, the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, BioResource Development, and Black Hills Energy, and you'll hear from all of those in a bit. We're thankful to have representatives from all four partners with us today to talk about their roles in a project that allows us to use a resource that otherwise would have been wasted and converted into an environmentally friendly fuel, benefiting our private sector partners while creating economic and environmental benefits for the whole community. Recovering resources is the true mission of this facility, the Water and Resource Recovery Center, and this project is significantly accelerating the return on investment that we're seeing from the facility upgrade completed 5 years ago. The Water and Resource Recovery Center has been converting waste into electricity and heat since that facility upgrade enabled us to use the anaerobic digestion process, which not only produces major operational cost savings, it also reduces greenhouse gas emissions and improves air quality. With the implementation of anaerobic digestion and the elimination of waste incineration, the city was able to turn an energy loss into an energy gain. However, we were producing excess methane, a resource that we were unable to recover or utilize until recently. Politically, I'd say we were using it for a nightlight with a big flare outside. Next, we'll hear from project partners who are able to help us make this facility even more efficient and provide a greater return on investment for our residents and stakeholders.
Hello, everybody. Dave Lyons. I'm a Sustainable Innovations Consultant with Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, a nonprofit, public-private entity whose job it is to support the city's efforts in growing the economy and creating the sustainability model that the council, Rick and the mayor and their counterparts have created, which is really to make Dubuque an economically viable, environmentally sustainable, and socially and culturally equitable community. When we talk about the sustainable innovations and the partnerships that are necessary to carry out that broad vision, we really kind of create a model to put depth and impact to that. Dubuque is not a community that says green things and then does something else. It says green things and then it does green things. When we take a look at the process, though, it doesn't happen just by accident. It happens by strategy and development. The first thing we do here is we look at the sustainable options that we have, the issues that could assist with resiliency, and we do an analysis. You know, how significant is the size and the impact going to be of the opportunity? What would be the cost to pursue it? How achievable is it within relevant time frames? How well do the community's assets align? How well does it leverage other value criteria such as the creation of jobs, the support of local industry, engagement of citizens? So when we applied that overall model to biogas, it was really a very positive review. Obviously, with the size of the biogas facilities that the city is involved with, the treatment facility here, the landfill out west, a significant environmental and economic opportunity. The cost to pursue. Dubuque does a wonderful job of putting together public-private partnerships where risks are shared and costs are shared between the private sector and the public sector. That makes these kinds of projects much more achievable and financially sustainable in Dubuque than you'd see other places in the country. How well does it align with the community's assets? Spot on. The community has a very strong engagement with sustainability and resiliency efforts. Our human infrastructure, our financial infrastructure, our regulatory infrastructure are all in good shape. How does it leverage other value criteria? Again, spot on. Biogas is a great opportunity from an environmental aspect. Methane, which is otherwise released from biogas facilities, is 27 times more powerful as a greenhouse gas emission than CO2, which means it's 27 times more value when we turn it into a product instead of release it into the environment. We did have some gaps in relationship to our local opportunities to pursue it, and those gaps were very well filled by some partners you'll be talking to in just a second. I did want to make one other comment, though, about this project. Again, even though we determined that sustainability and resiliency is a great investment in Dubuque, supported and the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation and its members supporting the city in that effort, and that biogas was a wonderful opportunity as well, we also had to understand that the City Council will set some directions in relationship to pursuing projects. And the Council set some pretty stringent relationships in pursuing this first project. If I can take you back a little over a year, the Council set a parameter that it wanted to move this project forward, and it wanted to do it in a way that accomplished 4 objectives. The first was to create additional positive and demonstrable environmental outcomes. And this facility does that tremendously. The second is to generate revenue cost reductions for the city and for its taxpayers. Again, this is designed to be able to deliver on that one very, very well. It needed to create an opportunity for local economic development and growth in the Dubuque region. And again, if you were on site here when it was being built or when it's being managed, local contractors, local jobs, local vendors, local partners. And the last was it needed to not require any additional direct investment by the city or risk by the city. And that's where the private sector came in to be able to not only provide expertise but also financing for this project. So I'm happy to say we met all of the Sustainable Dubuque goals. I'm happy to say this project also met all of the stringent requirements that the council set for achieving this project positively. And we now are actually on the site of a unique facility in Iowa which has the opportunity to really close the loop on the economics of resiliency. And that is to turn, as the mayor, as our guest, the councilman said, turn an energy negative into an energy positive. And the way we do that is through some very specific partners. I'd like to introduce Willie O'Brien, who is the plant manager here, to talk about how this project and the partners that were brought together for this project actually started to integrate the value that was in the plant and the opportunities that the plant held for biogas. Willie?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Willie O'Brien, manager of the city's Water and Resource Recovery Center. Today is an exciting day in the evolution of our facility. Just over 10 years ago, the city began planning a major upgrade of the facility, which was formerly named the Water Pollution Control Plant. Throughout the planning process, the city viewed wastewater entering the facility as a resource rather than a waste to be disposed of. The facility now utilizes organic materials captured in the treatment process, along with high-strength organics received by truck to produce biogas for the generation of heat and power. Roughly 400,000 gallons per day of treated effluent is disinfected and circulated throughout the facility, where it is used for process and washed water, and also for heating and cooling of this administration building. Biosolids resulting from the anaerobic digestion process contain valuable nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. These solids are utilized to amend the soil of farm fields, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. Moving forward, we will continue planning and implementing innovative ways to handle the materials entering our facility, recovering valuable components where achievable, and we will continue working with our local partners to realize the goals of our organization and the greater community. Now I'd like to introduce Greg McLean, President of BioResource Development.
Thanks, Willie, and thank you all for coming out today. This is a culmination of several years' worth of work, and BioResource is delighted to be a part of Dubuque's future in the development of renewable programs and ongoing success, hopefully. I'd like to say just a couple of words about what we do. BioResource Development is a company that was developed for the purpose of developing renewable natural gas from waste streams. We have projects in Omaha, Nebraska, where we recover methane from landfills. We process that into a renewable natural gas, which we place on the pipeline. In the case of Dubuque here, we're working with Black Hills Energy, who's been a great partner in developing what we need to get that gas on the pipeline. It seems kind of odd that you'd go through such efforts to refine gas and do those kind of things. But there's a program called the Renewable Fuel Standard, which many in Iowa have heard about. Usually you think about ethanol and biodiesel when you hear about renewable fuels, but advanced biofuels and cellulosic biofuels are also part of that process. And the EPA regulates the program for the renewable fuel standards. We have to comply with all of those requirements, and in the case of the WRRC, we produce what's called a cellulosic biofuel. And that is a smaller subcategory of the renewable fuel standard, but we take the gas from the digesters. It's got lots of methane in it, but it also has carbon dioxide, it has other impurities, hydrogen sulfide, siloxanes. That's what comes out of your shampoo and goes through the wastewater plant. Turns out those didn't even exist before 1995, but we have to remove them now. At any rate, we clean that up. We make a final product, which in the case of the wastewater plant here, ends up being about 97% pure methane in the end. And that is then delivered to Black Hills Energy through a town border station that was constructed for the purpose of this project alone. It's right here on site. When we're done here, you can go out and take a look at that. And they receive the gas, and then we can move that gas to any point in the country that we need to, because the last piece of the renewable fuel standard is that we have to prove that the gas that we produce gets into a vehicle for transportation use. So through that whole process, which I'm sure you can imagine involves a lot of paperwork and contracts, we are able to create what's called a renewable identification number, which is monetized, and that becomes our final revenue for doing the project. That also then becomes the key for how it is that we make an investment in communities like Dubuque and in Omaha, Sarpy County, and other places to develop these projects. We can't do it alone. We have lots of other partners that Dave and some others haven't even mentioned that are behind the scenes I would like to mention now. One of our main project partners is a company called American Nitrogen Rejection. They develop the technology that actually separates the carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen, and other particulates from the gas that makes it work. It's highly complex, and that's about all I can say about it right now because most of it's secret. There are other vendors that also provide Unison Solutions as a local vendor that provides part of the product or part of the process. We also work with our end customer is U.S. Gain. They're a division of U.S. Venture, which is an oil company based out of Wisconsin, but they have distribution centers nationwide. We also have another partner, N1 Energy, which is owned by Dave Neubauer, and they also provide a lot of our contracting services. Jake Sigel has been our partner with American Nitrogen Rejection and is kind of the key to the technology that makes it all work. And so I'd be remiss if I took credit for all that. We buy the system from them and implement it. But it's been a great collaborative process here in Dubuque, working with staff, working with Dave Lyons and the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. In fact, if there was a way that I could hire Dave and bottle him up and do all of our speaking for us, we'd do it because he's a great advocate for whatever he said is really encapsulates really what our business and our industry is all about. We're members of the American Biogas Council. We're active nationwide in the development and the promotion of renewable fuels. The renewable fuels, the RFS, renewable fuel system, was developed to encourage the development of new technologies and private investment in the development of alternative fuels. That's exactly what we do, and we'd like to continue our partnership with Dubuque and hopefully do some more projects in the future. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Black Hills. Tracy, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Thanks.
Again, good morning. My name is Tracy Peterson with Black Hills Energy, and As you know, we're the natural gas distribution company here for Dubuque. We're certainly proud to be partners with the City of Dubuque, Greater Dubuque Development, and BioResource Development on this project. As it's been said earlier, this is the first of its kind in Iowa. We're very glad to be a part of this. It's first of its kind for our company. The distribution company in Iowa that's serving customers here in Dubuque, we import all of the natural gas into the state of Iowa and into the city of Dubuque. And so this is the first time where we're actually taking gas locally that's pipeline quality and distributing that through our pipeline distribution systems, as has been said. So it's a unique project that I think that'll grow. Our company is certainly looking to do this, in other communities that we serve across our footprint. One of our goals is working as a distribution company in the communities that we serve through our franchises to support the goals that the communities have. And Dubuque is certainly a leader in the sustainability efforts. Being leaders across the country takes courage to do some of these innovative projects that haven't been done before, and I applaud the efforts of the leadership here in Dubuque to do those things. So we'll continue to explore additional opportunities and continue to partner with the City of Dubuque. We're committed to a culture of environmental stewardship, and this is certainly one of those projects that meets that effort. So again, congratulations, and thank you for letting us be a part of this today.
So that's why it works. We work with smart people that know what they're doing and can bring a lot to the table. Innovation like this does not happen everywhere, especially in cities our size. One of our local assets that made this project practical is that Unison Solutions is a Dubuque firm that designs and manufactures some of the specialized equipment to process this gas. Unison has a worldwide footprint. Their footprints and fingerprints are on this project as well. Again, I want to thank our partners and the city staff involved in making this project a reality. Another big milestone in our sustainable Dubuque journey to become more sustainable and resilient community. In order to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, reduce utility bills, and fulfill our city's commitment to reduce greenhouse gases 50% below 2003 levels by 2030. Let me say that again. We made a commitment to reduce the greenhouse gases coming out of Dubuque, Iowa by 50% from the 2003 levels by 2030, and we're well on our way. We'll continue to work closely with partners to identify ways to reduce energy use in city facilities and consider the best opportunities to shift to alternative energy processes. At this time, we can take a brief tour of the place, or if our media partners would like to corner any of the speakers or any of the experts in the room, we can do that first, whatever works for you. It becomes a very informal event from this moment on. Thank you all for being here. To our media friends, thank you for being here. This is a story worth telling, and we appreciate you helping us tell it. Thank you very much.
Converting biogas to renewable natural gas begins in the anaerobic digesters, where biosolids are broken down by natural organisms in an environment where there is no oxygen. One of the byproducts of this process is biogas. Because this byproduct is not pure methane gas, it must go through a process to remove impurities. Hydrogen sulfide is removed in these tanks. The methane gas is then compressed for the first time. Now, siloxanes are removed here, and then the gas is compressed again. To further purify the methane gas by removing carbon dioxide and traces of other gases, a process called pressure swing adsorption goes on here. This process separates the different gases and allows the methane to become even more pure. The methane is compressed one last time and can be sent to the flare or into the Black Hills Energy pipeline.